In this video, I'm going to show you how I solo launch and solo retrieve my boat by myself at the boat ramp. Some things to consider with a solo boat launch. Number one, the conditions of the ramp and how many other people are around. That can really affect how well you're able to do this by yourself. When there's an audience, sometimes that just throws us off completely, and that's very normal. When the weather is bad, like it's very windy or it's extremely hot, that can make this very tense, frustrating, and difficult. I chose today, which is beautiful conditions, no wind at my marina. There's nobody waiting for me. The weather is absolutely perfect. So I picked ideal conditions. So remember, your experiences may be different. The key is practicing and keeping a clear head. So, before you launch your boat, at the top of the ramp or as you arrive to the marina, before you back down the ramp, do all of the things that you need to be doing. Putting in your drain plug, checking to make sure your motor runs, your batteries are okay. Everything's loaded on your boat that you need. All of your stuff, your water bottles, your camera gear, your sunblock, your hats, everything is loaded in the boat and ready to go. Because that way, when you go to launch your boat, the only thing holding you up is actually launching your boat, not loading your boat, not trying to figure out how to get it started. None of those things are holding you up. Now, things can go wrong, and they do, but the more you do ahead of time, the better prepared you are when you're at the bottom of the ramp. So, one of the things that I've forgotten many times whenever I come to the ramp is I've forgotten to take the straps off of the boat that hold it to the trailer. So make sure you take all of your straps off of your boat, anything strapping it down. If you have a transom saver on your motor, any of those kinds of things, take care of that. And then also this chain right here. I forget to take this off sometimes. So when you're up the ramp, take the chain off and put it out of the way. If you have a regular trailer with bunks, a lot of times your boat will stay on the bunks going down the ramp, even on a very steep ramp like mine. So what you can do is you can actually disconnect the strap right here and let this loose, but you tie off the boat. Let me show you. So I've already got my chain off right here, and now I'm going to loosen this strap. What I do is I let a lot of slack out on this strap, and then I ratchet it to be in the tightening position, so that way when I go to retrieve my boat, it makes it easier. So I'm going to loosen a little bit more. Again, with practice, you'll figure out how much works for you, depending on how steep your ramp is and where your bow eye is. And then I just hook it on right here. So I have my chain hooked on here and I have that hooked on. And then I switch this over. This one's a little fiddly. Nope. There we go. So now it's in the ratcheting back position. So when I go to retrieve my boat, I can stand here on my plank, reach down and hook this on the bow eye, and I can immediately start cranking, and I don't have to sit here and fiddle with it like I just did while I'm tying up the ramp. The other big thing I do, you can tie it off to your bow eye or to a front cleat, is I tie off a line. And here's my line tied off to my bow cleat. Yeah, I know it's an old boat, so it's got these funky cleats, so I got it looped around here a couple times. And if you see, this line goes down, and I have it laying on the trailer so it doesn't get tangled. And then I have it very loosely tied up here. Because what's going to happen is I'm going to dip my boat in the water. It's going to plop right off the trailer, and this line keeps the boat from going away. And then I hop out of my truck and I untie it from there, and I can tie it off, move it around, whatever I need to do, and then get back in my truck and move my trailer out of the way while my boat is tied off. As I mentioned before, I have this now set in the ratcheting position for retrieving. I have this hooked on right here. Just hook it on somewhere handy. Have the chain hooked on there, so there's nothing right now connected to the bow eye. Here's my step that I stand on whenever I go to retrieve the boat. And with that line, I'll be able to handle the boat once it's in the water. Let me show you. I slowly back the boat into the water until it starts to come off the trailer on its own. And then I keep going back and stop until I see that the boat is holding on. So this line is what's holding the boat. And I don't have it tied real tight, so that way I can easily pull this off, he says. There we go. And now I can take this and use it to walk the boat way back off of the trailer. Obviously, if you had a person helping you, they could be doing a lot of this sort of stuff while you're just driving the trailer back and then pulling the trailer. You know, you're backing the trailer up, they're holding onto a line, and then you're able to just take the trailer right out of the water. I'm by myself, I can't do that, so. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the boat a big push back here. And I'm going to tie it off to this cleat right here, because that's the only cleat I got. And now I'm clear to take the trailer out of the water. So now let me show you how to retrieve the boat. Retrieving the boat is basically the opposite of launching the boat. However, I don't have the trailer usually as deep when I'm retrieving the boat. My bunks are all the way underwater, and when I'm retrieving the boat, I like to have my bunks up a little bit out of the water. Let me show you. Now, I don't always get this exactly right because I launch different boats and I'm not very good at this yet. But with my bunks up out of the water, I can stand on this plank and I can guide the boat up onto the bunks and then hook it up. If I get it wrong, where I'm a little too deep, I won't be able to crank it all the way on, but then I can just pull the trailer a little farther forward, which will drop the back of the boat down, and then I can crank it all the way on. But let's see how it goes.
So if you like this video, make sure you give it a like, and then don't forget, if you want to see more of Wayne the Boat Guy, subscribe.
Thank you. So once again, I'm using my very long bow line that I have tied off to this cleat. With some boats, you can tie it off to the bow eye, and that's obviously better than tying it off to a cleat that's off center. When it's not too windy, and I keep my wits about me, I can pull it right in, even though I'm pulling from the side. Now, it's not completely centered on there, but that's okay. It will center itself. Maybe. We might be a little too far off today. And that's okay. So, the advantage of this line being extremely long is I'm way off center with the trailer. Now, if I had a boat hook pole or whatever, I could use that right now. But in my marina, I can also walk it back from the other side. I just got to get it off that bunk for a little bit. And you can see the boat is doing a dance right now. This is good. When I practiced this earlier, it went on here perfect. And this is far from perfect. Just to show you what can happen. So let me push the stern away. I probably pushed it a little bit too hard. And then let me bring it back up again. Yes, we're crooked, but the bow right now is between the bunks. For now. Oh, come on. I usually get this on the first try. So I just gave it a very gentle push because I don't need it to go completely spinning around the other way. I just need it to be better. And we're better. So this plate here, I'm going to put a link to this. I got this from Amazon. It's called the plank. It allows me to walk down here. You know, walk the plank, I guess. Now, you don't ever want to lose your boat, so periodically tie it off to things or have somebody hold on to the line. And I'm just pulling this one around because it's a small enough boat that I can do that to get it lined up on here kind of square. And now, let's see if I let out enough slack on my strap to reach. Just barely. Ugh. There. Whew. Okay. All right, so I'm still too deep in. So I've just started winding, and you can see my roller is above the top of the bow. It's not going to pull it up like it should be because my ramp is steep and the stern of the boat is up too high still. So with it right here, like this, I'm going to now drive my truck a little farther forward, which will drop the back of the boat down to tighten it up. And I don't have to go far. I just need to go like a foot or two forward. Now that I've pulled forward, look how much farther away this is, because it's not dipped down near that roller. So now I can just crank it on up. And then attach the safety chain before I go up the ramp. And then also I'm going to take this line so that it doesn't get caught in any wheels or tires, because as you see it's fallen on the ground here, and toss it up on the boat. And we're ready to head out of here. Now, before you go home, you want to make sure to pull your drain plug. You want to make sure to strap your boat to your trailer, use your transom saver or anything you need to do to secure your motor. Make sure all your safety chains are on and that everything that's in the boat is secured, or you take it back out and put it in your vehicle. That's all there is to it. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Wayne the Boat Guy. Here's the next video you should be watching. It's a good one.